Double Ben,
Yeah.
double Dr. Ben.
Man, I know you were like on a hiatus from social media for a while and you're back and you're killing it.
Well, I felt the fire, bro. Honestly, what inspired me to come back was getting an email from the regulatory agency in Colorado saying that I was going to have to take this gosh darn cupcake, you know? So yeah, I was off of social media pretty much for the last year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
well,
here we are.
I'm off. But I guess so Colorado is saying you got to eat your 2 Krispy Kremes if you want to get your license?
Well, here's the thing, and from my perspective, is actually really good news. So I got this email a couple of weeks ago, and it said, "Yeah, eat the cupcakes, or else." Sorry, we still here. I got the email from the regulatory agency. Eat the cupcakes, or else. And then a flood of people like you and I came together and said, we got to put the pressure on. And people sent emails, people called, blah, 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 blah. And a week later, they said, okay, well, it's not every licensed healthcare provider. It's just those who are federally funded in institutions that provide care for quote unquote high risk individuals. So it's like they're already backing off. The pressure is already on, so much so. So I ultimately think that like I feel like we already won, and it's
Okay.
just like and when I say that we already won, I feel like we already won kind of globally, spiritually. Like this battle, like what we're witnessing now is kind of just like sifting through the dead corpses as we're like emerging into the new earth kind of thing. I feel like really they're just gasping for their last breaths.
Wow, well, I did not know that. This is real exciting. We kind of had a plan of what we wanted to talk about on this call today, but I want to dive more into this because this is exciting.
Yeah.
So what I understood was that Colorado and I think Oregon said that for healthcare practitioners, and you're a naturopathic doctor, you have to get your Krispy Kreme donuts, and that's code word for something else, which I think everybody on this live knows what that is, if you want to keep practicing, right? And so I guess there was a backlash. Like, how did you guys get active? What did you guys do? I mean, obviously it wasn't, having an insurrection at the Colorado State Capitol. You guys like acted peacefully. What did you do and what worked?
Oh, well, I don't have direct evidence that we actually won. It's kind of more of a feeling, but the fact is that they did and are backpedaling from my perspective. I think what did it
definitely.
was what people just drew the line in the sand and they said no. And they sent an email, they sent phone calls, they bombarded these non-elected quote unquote healthcare officials who think that they know what's best for doctors. Don't you think that doctors know what's best for doctors? I mean, healthcare practitioners, healthcare specialists spend their lives studying health, at least like you and I do. Maybe not all healthcare practitioners, but it's like we kind of aren't just like people like off the street with no understanding of how the body works and what we should maybe put in it. Like we can read the data, we can understand things. So anyways, yeah, these people who are well educated, these doctors and also concerned citizens, put the pressure on and just flooded the phone lines and flooded the email inboxes just with authentic messages of, this is ridiculous. No, I am a sovereign being. I am responsible for my health. Thank you for trying to, take care of us, but we know how to take care of our own selves and get out of our way, right? So there was a lot of kind of just grassroots. There still is a lot of grassroots kind of action and activism, as I'm sure is the case everywhere throughout the world.
Well, it sounds like, maybe we haven't won the war yet, but that's like at least a victory in a battle. And it shows us that, when we come together, we are the 99% essentially. And that we can fight back and we can win these things. So it sounds like that really lit a fire under you to like want to come back on social media, and you're like, hey, I think we can win, so let's keep winning, right? Is that?
Yeah, no, I wanted to kind of get my voice out because like you kind of just said, I really think, I don't know if it's 99 that we are the majority, people who just think my body, my choice, like that's not a radical thing. And I think that we are the majority, even though we've been programmed to think or believe that we're like wrong or selfish for wanting to take care of ourselves and not letting the government take care of us. Like, when has that ever been a good idea, for anyone other than ourselves to take care of us? And, I really wish that I could live off of social media and didn't have this like passion running through my veins, and I could just, eat my fruits and vegetables and live in peace. But yes, there is this motivation to really be a part of something. And I wanted to demonstrate that and follow that inner voice, and also hopefully give permission for other people who are kind of bashful in their stance to stand strong and have nothing to be ashamed of. Because as we collectively do that, we give more permission to others and we build our army, quote unquote. I'm not a violent person, but I think that, energetically, we create that strong boundary that we need by collectively standing up. And we have to do that in physical form.
Awesome. Yeah, we're at the point where we do. I mean, before this all happened, my philosophy was like, I'm going to do me and you can do you. But when you start doing me, then we now, at first I was like, well, I don't know about this. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I gotta keep that thing, like I'm a sovereign being, and you're not going to tell me how to practice, what to put in my body, what to cover my face with, because I know better. And this is ridiculous. And so it's kind of made activists out of people like you and I, who, a few years ago were just content to be like, hey, here's how you can be healthy. Here's how you do it. If you wanna, follow me and do what I do and learn from me, like, you're welcome to it. If not, no big deal. And now it's come to, they're trying to essentially quell people like us. And we're saying, no, this is a message that needs to be heard, and we're not going to be, shut down, and we're not going to have our way of life taken away from us. It's not that we need to go push it on everybody else like they do, but we still want to, live how we live and practice the way we practice. And I think that's what we're fighting for, and that's like, we're fighting for everybody to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. I mean, I'm glad you're back. I've always really, liked your message and thought you had good things to say. And so, yeah, I'm just stoked to have you back. So what are you working on now as far as getting your message out there? Because you had a podcast at one point, or what are you up to these days?
Yeah, still got the podcast. Things are going well in that regard. I have to admit, I don't know about you, Dr. Ben, but I kind of wish that I could just talk about plant-based nutrition and how the body heals itself, and just, that kind of real day-to-day boots on the ground self-healing stuff. But I must say that the passion for my one-on-one clinical practice, if you will, is a little bit waning, just because there's so much more important things happening in the world. I'm curious what your feeling is, adjusting people and helping people find their health. Are you still feeling passionate and enthusiastic about that one-on-one individual work? I know you've been obviously called to be more of an activist for humanity.
Yeah, I'm still passionate about it. I feel like this issue has come up because it's like, if we lose on this, I won't be able to do that anymore. Okay. Yeah. They're already suppressing information about treatments that work for this disease that's going on, and suppressing information about treatments that supposedly work that don't actually work. And so I know that plant-based nutrition is on the chopping block. That if information about what's going on with the pandemic gets suppressed, then it's only a matter of time before they come for me and say, oh, he's giving out dangerous information, telling people to drink fruits and vegetables in liquid form. You're supposed to take immunosuppressants and blood pressure medications and metformin. He's
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you something, Dr. Ben. Is what you got in that phase 3 clinical trials or what?
I don't think so. I think I'm breaking the law drinking this.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah, no, I hear you. And I think I'm with you. It's like this, I feel like there's this chapter where it's like stuff is kind of on the back burner as we attend to the fire that's blazing in our day-to-day reality. That's kind of threatening our livelihood in so many ways. But yeah, of course, you know, still doing the Alter Health thing. Yeah, my podcast is named Alter Your Health, and we put out 2 episodes a week. And to be honest, you know, my wife and partner, Dr. Susanna, also a naturopathic doctor, you know, I'll say we because we're a team, but maybe a little bit more she than I. You know, a little timid and like standing the ground, right? Because let's face it, when you take a stance, you're saying, unfortunately, you're saying bye to a lot of people who don't have the mental fortitude and bandwidth to consider having relationships with people who think outside of the quote unquote box, you know? Mm-hmm. So anyways, we've kind of been a little timid in breaking free and voicing ourselves in a professional way. You won't find any radical extremist on our Alter Health, you know, Instagram account or on the podcast for that matter. But I'm feeling, you know, personally, this is like a personal thing, I guess, you know, but it'll probably blend with our business before too long.
I mean, we're getting to the point where, you know, this was already pretty fringe, and it's going to get, like, if we don't drive a wedge into it now and stop what's going on, this is going to become extremism. This is literally going to become Dr. Ben is killing people. They need to be on methotrexate, and they need to be on, you know, whatever. And I've found that as I've been taking a stand and talking about the medical freedom issue, I'm still talking about the plant-based nutrition issue. I'm still talking about how the body has the capacity to heal itself, because that's what, you know, people seem to have forgotten. And they think that, you know, the mainstream narrative is you can't heal yourself, you're going to die, you're going to get this, and you're going to die. And if you don't get, you know, the Jabberwocky, if you don't cover your face with a rag, if you don't stay away from everybody, there's all these dangerous people out there. You better stay away from them. They're trying to kill you. You're basically going to get sick and you're going to die, and everybody you know is going to get sick and die, and there's nothing you can do unless, you know, you do what we say. That's not really how health works. You and I both know that. And so just reminding people how health actually works, because, you know, which is that, you know, you engage in the activities that create health, which is, you know, a healthy plant-based diet, getting enough sleep, getting exercise, you know, all that stuff. People think that somehow, like, you know, our colleagues, we want to call them colleagues who are also plant-based doctors, kind of think that all that's off the table now because there's some kind of, you know, virus thing going around. The rules don't apply anymore. I have not been sick. I have not missed a single day. I have not gotten a sniffle. I have not gotten a cough. I have not gotten anything. And I have not done any of these suggested interventions. So I think that, you know, the rules of health or the laws of, you know, nature still apply. They did not get suspended, just as, you know, the Constitution should not get suspended.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother.
And so it's like people are coming to me like, oh, like, should I have, you know, this banned drug around or this banned drug around, or should I be taking this stuff? I want to have a stockpile in case I get sick. It's like, dude, like, you're fighting the wrong battle, right? Like I'm not worried about getting sick. Like, I'm not worried. Like, people are like, what are you going to do if you get it? Like, how are you going to stay out of the hospital? It's like, I'm not going to get it. You know? Like, I can walk through the ER, walk through the COVID wing, sniff everybody, spend 3 hours there, and I'll come home and I'll be fine. Like, I'm really not worried. How about you?
I'm in the same position. Absolutely. I'll lick the doorknobs. I'll kiss the people on the ventilators, like, and that's not like a pretentious thing, but I trust my body. I trust my body. And I think that really we have a pandemic of untrusting souls who are in fear. You know, they don't trust their body's capacity to maintain balance. And some people, rightfully so, because they're not putting in the proper ingredients for that balance to be optimally maintained. But the fact is, you and I, and the people who we associate with and educate, inform, and empower know how to take care of the body, know how to feed it and fuel it and think and move in ways that allow it to maintain balance. And just to, comment on getting sick and like catching the thing. First of all, I'm very proud to say that I have yet to take any sort of test. I've yet to do any of that, submit type myself to any of those kind of measures. I haven't been on an airplane in a year and a half, but anyway, the fact is, I don't know if I've caught the thing. I very well could have, and I had a headache or was tired for a day or two. But the fact is, the symptoms that we have, whether it's a cough or a sneeze or diarrhea or a runny nose or a headache, those symptoms are evidence of our body working properly. Those symptoms are actually evidence of health. So quote unquote, getting sick is not a sign of ill health per se. Getting sick is a sign of a healthy body that is responding to toxicity, to stress, maybe to pathogenic organisms in a healthy sort of way. So we want to promote those detoxification symptoms. We don't want to, we want to be on top of the ball. We want to be proactive. We don't want to just continue living our stress-filled and junk food-filled life as we digress in worsening symptoms, and then walk into the emergency department to be put on remdesivir and a ventilator. The perfect protocol to kill you. We don't want to do that. We want to be proactive, but just like, I guess my message being that the symptoms that our body provides us, not a bad thing, a good thing. We want to support those. For example, our fever, right? Fever. It's the immune system turning on, burning shit up, and we want to get in a hot bath, get in a sauna, actually raise our body temperature so that our fever can do its job even better. Obviously not take Tylenol and crap like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a message that we need to hear, and I feel like it's like guys like you and I got into doing what we're doing because even before this mess, we knew what they were doing wasn't working, right? And now it's just sort of like being played out to like ad nauseum. It's like, how bad are they going to get at taking care of people before the whole thing just collapses, right? Like, we're seeing now that like these hospitals are so understaffed because the staff doesn't want to take donut sauce that like you can't even get into the hospital. And so it's like the new earth, the new system is emerging out of essentially need, because people are realizing that whole mainstream medical thing is a dead end. It's a like literal dead end. Like, it will kill you.
Yeah.
And so they're looking at people like you and I to say, like, I need to do something different because I don't want none of that.
There certainly is more and more, average Joe citizens who are like, wait a second, all the people that I know who went to the hospital are dead. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, it's just kind of, it's that common sense is coming to a lot of us. So I think ultimately it's a good thing. And we're here, you and I and all sorts of amazing practitioners who are connected with, just common sense. I call it common sense because it really is common sense. It's not like rocket science that you eat fruits and vegetables, right? Sure, you can get into the nitty gritty biochemistry and whatnot. But the fact is, it's just living a life connected with nature. And that's all there is to it. And you stay away from medicine. I'll never forget, I think it was my first or second year of naturopathic school. And we had like an old timer, veteran, crunchy, old naturopathic doctor who came in and taught some class called philosophy, ironically enough. But anyways, we learned in that class that the proper practice of conventional medicine, not like misprescribing of drugs, not malpractice, but the proper practice of conventional medicine is the third leading cause of death in this country. And I was like, wait, and he went through the numbers and he showed us the evidence that led to his conclusion there. And that's not good. That's not good. And that is kind of being shown to us like, whoa, medicine is killing us. That being said, there's a lot of people who are still in a lot of cognitive dissonance, not really seeing what's happening because they're not willing to. But for those of us who are curious and willing, it's there right before us.
Yeah, and I think there's just going to be more and more cognitive dissonance, or things are going to get so bad, it's like they can't really ignore how crazy it's gotten, It's like as they try to force everything on people more and more, it's more and more people are going to wake up. It's like, why the heck are we, they're so maniacal about like getting the donut sauce in everybody's arm and shutting down everything and like making it so you can't travel and like, it's just it's gonna make people ask questions, and so more people are gonna wake up. What would you say for people who are kind of coming out of their slumber and realizing that the mainstream medical system is a dead end? What are the fundamentals for them to get started?
Yeah. What a great question. Because, it's so easy. It's so easy. Go through your refrigerator, go through your cupboards, and throw out anything that's not food. Most people have a lot of shit in their life that isn't natural, And when I say not food, I mean chemicals and preservatives and food colorings and yada, yada, yada. And then you can get a little bit more serious in terms of eliminating animal flesh and secretion and, like the animal products and oils and things like that. But the first step, I think, is just eliminate when at the end of a fork. Then we can be more mindful of chemicals going into our body through our air and water and other things that come into our mouth. And then we just naturally become more mindful of what we're, putting on our skin, what we're cleaning our dishes with, what we're mopping the floors with. And it's like, there's a bunch of chemicals everywhere. How long has humanity been doing this? Oh, maybe 50, 60 years. Oh, what else has happened in those 50, 60 years? Oh, a complete decline in health and life, quality, a complete incline and, spike in chronic disease and chronic need for prescription medication to manage these kind of symptoms. So get rid of all the junk.
Awesome. Yeah, it's as fundamental as that. I always tell people if it grows out of the ground or off of a tree, it's good for you for the most part. So start there.
Yeah. What would you add, Dr. Ben?
I would just add that it's easy to talk about don't eat this, don't eat that, don't do this, don't do that. It's like, let's talk about the things that we should include, because otherwise it just sounds like a bunch of restriction and no fun. But fruits and vegetables, that's what's in here. I got mangoes, bananas, and greens. And so just doing as much fresh produce as you can, fresh whole plant foods.
Yeah.
There's not some magic powder you need to buy. There's not some magic supplement pill you need to buy. It's really starting with just the fundamentals. It really is that simple. That's why I would tell people. So hey, we got a few more minutes left. I got a hard stop at 3:00 my time.
Cool.
I want you're out, you're back out here. You're rabble rousing. You're sharing your passion, and I want people to follow you and get engaged. So obviously you're here on Instagram, but you also mentioned you do a podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about that and anywhere else that people should find your work or follow you or get involved with what you're doing?
Yeah, thanks, man. And I didn't yet, applaud you for your message and your articulate words that really do have a way of, like, at least for me, I'll speak from my own experience. I'm like, every time I read a Dr. Ben Benulis post, I'm just like, yeah, sock it to him, and it's just like,
Oh,
yeah. And when I saw that one of your things was shared on InfoWars, I was like, yeah, Alex Jones has got the juju too. Cool. So anyways, thank you and I'm here probably because of people like you and other people like you who are just like, we're supported. We're supporting each other. But anyways, yeah, Alter Health is how I work with people. www.alter.health. We have a Facebook group. We're still on the Facebook thing, but a Facebook group of over 5,000 people who are living a whole food plant-based lifestyle, and it's a really inspiring place to be, doing all sorts of free programs in there, education based and whatnot. And then of course the podcast twice a week on all the podcast platforms and whatnot. Yeah, thanks, man.
Oh yeah, thank you. I'm really glad to have you back. I'm honored to find out that I inspire you. Let's do another one of these. I got a book coming out later this year. I'd love to get on your podcast if you have me. But let's stay connected, man. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, likewise. Like really, and it's so good to know that there is like this strong, like not only strong, like energetically, like drawing the line, but healthy. Like our health is so important now, because how are we going to stand up and stand strong if we're withering away and not feeling good and not able to get out of bed? So I know you take really great care of yourself. It's super inspiring. So thank you for just being that model. Love you, man.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Dr. Ben. Have a good
Be in touch. Bye.